My name is Felicity Spicer, and my speech is on supporting caregivers and cancer patients alike. We all strive to hear those three little words from people special in our lives: I love you. But there are another set of three words that none of us ever hope to hear, and that stops you in your tracks. You have cancer. According to the American Cancer Society, half of all men and 1/3 of all women in the United States will develop cancer during their lifetime. This is a shocking and staggering statistic. Say in a given college classroom of 32 students, ideally 16 men, 16 women, half and half. In that setting, approximately 5 women will be diagnosed with cancer, and 8 men will be diagnosed sometimes in their lives. I stand before you as a survivor myself from a family heavily touched by cancer. I'm also a Hero of Hope spokesperson for the American Cancer Society and serve as the youngest member on the Executive Leadership Council. Some ask me how I can be so close to the ACS program as a 2-time survivor, asking, once you've lived through it, Felicity, how do you manage to be surrounded by it? Does it ever drag you down? And honestly, at times it does, yet majority of the time I find it a blessing to be able to show others that you can beat the odds that are set against you. On the ACS website, you can find my story by the link on page 14. I can confidently say that as a survivor, it was a hard journey, but it was also a hard journey for my caregivers, my family, especially my mother. And you may ask, who is a caregiver? The person who most often helps the person with cancer and is not paid to do so. It can be families, close friends, co-workers, neighbors. They can fill this role. It's whoever helps take care of the cancer patient. And you might ask, why is a caregiver needed? Today, people spend far less time in the hospital than in the past, meaning that sicker people are being taken care of at home. And today, this is a statistic from the American Cancer Society website, families provide about 80% of home care services. Caregivers are doing things that until recently were only done in a hospital. And what about the caregiver's needs and feelings? The support of friends and family is key to both the person with cancer and the caregiver. Caregivers often feel tired, isolated, depressed, maybe even anxious, and are less likely to reach out for help. There's a certain stigma that they might feel selfish because here they're not even the one battling cancer. Why should they be complaining? And many stay silent. But we need to help them realize that these are normal feelings that must be recognized and managed. Overwhelming concern for a sick loved one may distract caregivers from taking care of themselves. As a way of supporting caregivers, you can help plan some activities that they enjoy. Just take a couple hours out of their day, or an entire day if it's free, but you can take them to watch a movie, have lunch, invite them to go exercising. They rarely will volunteer to take that time out for themselves. So as an onlooker, we can say, hey, let's take a break and let's do something. Involve them in your life. Additional ways to support them is suggest a support group. Contacting your local American Cancer Society office. Here in Northern Kentucky, we have an office right off the Buttermilk Pike exit. Relaying that information to them, suggesting them to join that group. And also, there's plenty of online groups, discussion boards, where besides an in-person meeting, 24/7, there's an online communication for them to reach out and to talk to others. Supporting a caregiver in small ways is minute in comparison to the way that they support the person who has been stricken with cancer. By supporting both the caregiver and the patient, we can help them both have strength in persevering. Just as it is said that it takes a community to raise a child, I would say it takes a community to back up families with these issues. It doesn't take much, but acknowledgement, consideration, and small courtesies go a long way. With the statistics I gave earlier, cancer, unfortunately, is not a distant reality. It is here and as hard as research, programs, and prayers are trying to eradicate the world of this disease, we have no set date as to when cancer will go down in history books. So any of us have a chance at some time in our lives. Imagine with me that if one day you are diagnosed, who will be there for you? And how would you want to be cared for? How much would you want those caregivers that tirelessly help you to be supported and helped as well? In closing, my plea with you is to help us be active in your community and help them to realize we need to support cancer patients and caregivers alike.